Holy shit, it's our first real fucking episode. Welcome to Not Safe for Words. I'm your host, Crystal L. Kirkham, multi-genre author, editor, and cover designer. I'm here to give you insight into the world of publishing and to help you avoid the mistakes that others have made. So stick around, you're in for one hell of a ride where I don't curb the curses. For those of you who took the time to tune into my teasers, part of this episode will be a bit of a recap for you. Everybody else, welcome to Not Safe for Words and our very first episode. Now, before we get into all the information I'm going to be dropping on you this season, I'm going to give you a little bit more about me, my journey, and the mistakes I've made. When I published my very first novel, I had no fucking clue what I was doing or what I was getting into. All I know is everybody in my life was telling me, "Oh my God, this is so good. You should get it published." And I panicked. I did the only thing I knew how to do. I threw it up on Kindle, which, if you're going self-publishing, isn't a bad route to go. But when you're absolutely clueless, have no idea how to edit, and none of the people who are telling you how good it is are writers, oops. It wasn't the best start to my career, and although it's still a fairly well-rated novel, one of these days I have to go back and edit that thing and make it what it should have been all along. So that was the very first mistake I made, but it was also the mistake that really had me learning how to be an author. And a lot of that was making mistakes and learning along the way. When I got around to doing my second novel, I actually had somewhat of a fucking clue on what I was doing. And I went with Amazon again and did the Kindle thing. It worked out for me. It's a pretty well-rated novel too, although not as much exposure as I would like. But the big difference between 2016 and 2018 in publishing those two novels was that I got involved in the writing community. I got involved with other writers, editors, publishers. I started listening to agents. I started to learn. And that's what this podcast is all about. Learning things the easy way instead of having to go through it the hard way, the way I did and many other authors have had to do before me. In 2019, I signed my first contract with a publisher, and I started to learn a lot more about traditional publishing and how it all worked. I'd done my research before, but now this was the actual experience. And then from there to 2020, I actually started working for my publisher as a managing editor. Needless to say, I learned a hell of a lot about editing in the meantime. Now, I was blessed with common sense, or at least that's what I like to think. And I think I've avoided a lot of the really, really bad mistakes I've seen people make. But I've never not been involved in the writing community since that first novel. And I've never stopped trying to learn more about all the aspects of publishing and writing and how to be a half-decent fucking author. Now, I've said it before and I will say it again. I don't have all the answers, and I'm not here to tell you how to be an author. I'm just here to help you avoid a lot of pitfalls and mistakes that others have made, because I've seen a lot over the last few years. I've seen people literally blow up their careers over stupid, idiotic mistakes. I don't want you to have to be that person. I want you to succeed, because being an author isn't saying that everybody else who writes is my competition. I want to see you succeed. I want you to be on the bestseller list, no matter how unlikely that might be, because I'm going to be happy for you. I'll be jealous, let's be fucking honest, but that doesn't mean I'm not happy. And that's what this podcast is all about, and that's where it started, is I want people to succeed. I want you to succeed. It's as simple as that. So, rolling back a bit here, when I say we're covering the basics this year to help you avoid the pitfalls and mistakes others have made, I don't just mean topics that are for those who are new to pursuing publishing. These are topics that some established authors could really use to learn a bit more about as well. I sure as hell could have used these lessons after the first novel, maybe even a bit after the second novel as well. But we're going to be covering things like professionalism and being a writer, your author brand, pen names versus real names, the publishing process in a nutshell, because a lot of people get that one wrong. There is a whole lot of fucking hurry up and wait going on with publishing. We're going to talk about CPs, betas, and alpha readers, whether or not your manuscript is even ready to send out into the world, pitch events on Twitters, the feared synopsis and querying process. There's going to be talk about genres, comparison titles, planning versus pantsing a story. We're going to talk about NaNoWriMo, and I know there's a lot of people who talk about that topic, but I'm not going to tell you you should do it. I'm going to give you the pros and cons from somebody who's been doing it for 13 years. We're going to talk about taking writing advice with a grain of salt. Yes, even mine. And we're even going to cover the much debated topic of writer's block. I seriously can't wait to dive into most of these topics, and I hope you find a kernel or two of good advice, maybe a bit of wisdom that really helps carry you through your publishing career. Whether or not you're an established author or brand new to the publishing game, good luck out there. This has been another episode of Not Safe for Words. I hope you found some useful advice here today. If you have feedback on this or any other episode, tweet me or leave a voicemail on Anchor FM. Don't forget to join me next time for more publishing and writing insights. Thanks for listening.